And when I showed up at her house and it was her husband and her two daughters and nobody else, I was like, are you kidding me?
Welcome to the Other 99% podcast. I'm your host, Lisa Duck, a coffee-loving direct sales enthusiast who's obsessed with a good digital system. Come join me for a realistic look into the world of direct sales. We'll explore inspiring perspectives, learn about unique business tips, and celebrate success stories that often go untold. Because on the other 99%, every seller matters. Hey everyone, it is me, Lisa, and welcome back to another episode of the Other 99%. I am excited to have my friend Robin here with me. I have met Robin. First, I met her through Oh My High, which is an amazing website platform. And there's more information about that in my show notes if you're interested. And then we met because she joined the Modern Direct Seller Academy at the VIP level. So we have a lot of interaction as we navigate through her website and all that stuff. But I'm so excited to have her here with me. And yeah, I just want you to jump in, Robin, and sort of tell the listeners a little bit about you, who you are, what you do, and sort of what made you join direct sales.
Okay, well, first of all, thanks for having me. I'm so excited. I fangirled over you one time before, so I'm going to do it one more time.
I giggled at that. I'm like, woohoo, I got a
Okay, so all right, my fangirl days are over for the moment.
fangirl.
Okay, I am Robin Garcia. I'm with Pampered Chef. I was actually a teacher for 27 years. Retired a couple years ago, which is lovely. Before that, I was in banking. I didn't actually start teaching till I was 30. I've got a wonderful husband. I have three wonderful sons who are now men. They're not
Hmm.
well, they're still my boys, but they're not boys. And then one,
They'll always be your babies, right?
you know that. And then one adorable fur baby who is my fourth child. Um, well, what happened, with having three boys and two of which were in baseball and
Hmm.
select baseball and going everywhere and being busy all the time, I became a drive-through queen. Sad to say, my poor children, I really did them a disservice. Well, my husband too, but he's an adult, he's fine. And I just, I was finally invited to, well, it wasn't finally invited. I shouldn't say that. I was invited to a Pampered Chef party, and I actually had been invited many times over. And I was just like, yeah, no. Like, what you look at me and what screams Pampered Chef to you? Um, okay, nowadays it better, but but back then it didn't. And I went to a party and I was like, oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So when you jumped into direct sales, it was the products that pulled you in? Like what pulled you
It
into the,
was.
yeah.
It was the products first.
Okay.
My consultant, who's actually now my director, um, made a pasta dish in this thing that well, it's not a thing, in a tool called the Rock Crock, and I call it the magic pot because this thing can be used basically anywhere, and it's dishwasher safe, which is a love language of mine.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I don't have to hand wash it, yay me. She made this dish. And not only was it quick, it looked really easy as she was, demonstrating it. And then, of course, we got to taste it being an in-home party. And I was just like, oh, and it was so funny too, because I'm like sitting in the back, real quiet, because that's how I am. I'm like real quiet until I get to know you. And I'm just like taking it all in. And I'm thinking to myself, I could make that. Being a consultant was nowhere on my radar at this moment.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I was like, if she can do that in front of these people, I can certainly do that in my house. And then, of course, she, as every consultant does, they talk about the business opportunity and all that. And that kind of perked my ears up. One, it was the rock rod that really did it for me. But the other was,
Was that in the starter kit?
actually, it wasn't.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It wasn't, I know, and I wanted it so bad. And, it was, I call it one of our power tools. It's,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, it's like 150 thereabouts dollars. And at the time, that was a lot of money with three boys, all the sports and all the craziness in my life. Um, But then she talked about the business opportunity where you can, earn some money. And that really, then my ears really perked
Mm-hmm.
up because I was like, I could use, Lord knows I could use some money. I've got kids that are in sports, ready to go to college. Um, and I was like, okay, let me think about it. And again, I'm that quiet person. I did ask her some questions like later on. It took me those 6 months until I
Okay.
finally said, I'm going to do it. And then I did.
Remind me again how long you've been in Pampered Chef?
It's been now 8.5 years.
8.5 years. Okay.
Mhm.
So tell me then, during those 8.5 years, have you ever had a moment where you just thought about, I'm done, I give up, I quit? And if so, you know, how'd you overcome that? Like,
I did. I had one serious moment. And this was, I'll take responsibility. This was on my shoulders. A friend of mine was hosting an in-home party. She was also a consultant with Mary Kay at the time.
mm-hmm,
And I did not coach her like I should have. I was like, she's my friend. She's a consultant. She knows what to do, right?
mm-hmm.
Big mistake on
We
my part.
take that for granted a lot of
We
the times.
we
We
do.
do.
And when I showed up at her house and it was her husband and her two daughters and nobody else, I was like, are you kidding me? In my head.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
I was very, very positive with her, but I was like, oh my God. But then I said, you know what? I've got the food. We've got the time. Let's just have some fun,
mm-hmm.
and we did. I mean, I didn't go through like the normal party script or whatever that I would with someone I really didn't know and all of their people. But all of us played with the products. We made the food. We enjoyed the food and all that. But at one point during that, I said, I don't know if this is for me. I
Mm-hmm.
was like, I don't think so. I think I'm done. And of course, I'm not a quitter.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I was driving home and of course my brain was going on. I was like, okay, that was your fault, girlfriend, because I dropped the ball. Two, I don't want to give it up. And then what I did was I had a very, very small like VIP group at the time. Like we're
Okay.
talking 15, 20 people. And so I had a contest, invite your friends. You know, not just anyone, but invite people that you know who like to cook or who would like to make their cooking life easier.
Okay.
Invite them to my VIP group. Let's grow the group. And that got some momentum going. And from that point forward, I haven't looked back, but
That's
I
good.
was so close to saying, that's it. Peace out. I'm done. I'm so glad I didn't though.
Well, I know, you look back and you're thinking it's like, yeah, that could have been the end of it. I had a
Mhm.
similar situation where I showed up and it was just the lady there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God. Um, but
Hmm.
that wasn't the icing on the cake. And I don't like to air this, but I mean, her house was like really, really dirty. And I had to clean off a spot on the counter to put anything. So,
Oh gosh.
needless to say, I did not unpack anything for just her. What I did was I took out the prepared products and I left them for her. Left
Hmm.
her a couple catalogs and then just walked out. And I'm sitting in my car. I'm like, oh my God, I don't know. This is not my thing. But
Right.
I carried on. I carried on, and you know, I don't regret looking back. I love what I really truly do love what I do. So
Hmm.
that leads us into my next question though,
Hmm.
because what I what I found, especially over the last few days, that I love about this industry is the community that you build within it. So that truly surprised me because if you know me, you know I'm all about the money. I mean, it's like I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I started this business to make a money. I didn't start this business because I wanted to share good food with people. That is the result of it, that's the benefit of it. But
Right.
I started because, yes, I seen the dollar signs, right? So the
Hmm.
biggest thing that surprised me is like the community and how now you feel part of something. So what surprised you most about the industry?
Honestly, I could say ditto to what you just said, sister. The money was the kicker, the products were second, And now this community that I have, which is absolutely amazing. I've made real friends from these customers.
Hmm.
Not you're just not one of my good customers. There are people that will message me or text me, invite me to their, to their home parties or whatever,
Hmm.
like birthday parties, that live in San Antonio. That has been amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. I think of one customer in particular. She sends me baby pictures of her grandkids. She sends me trips, pictures of them on trips. I've had pictures of her holding Epicure's mac and cheese seasoning on the beach in like some sunny place. And
That
I
is
just
so
giggle.
cool.
I mean, I just giggle because I absolutely love it. So,
That's
uh,
awesome.
it's the community is awesome. So,
Hmm.
question for you. If you were to sit here talking to somebody who had no idea what direct sales was and was just sort of like thinking about getting into it, what is the one piece of advice you would give them when starting a business?
I would tell them don't overthink it. Just go for it because it's real easy to talk yourself out of it. But I would add one more thing to that. Don't ever compare your journey to somebody else's because you don't know what step they're in and what it took to get there. Because I'm telling you, comparison, I know everyone says this, it's the thief of joy. It
Hmm.
is. I did that in the beginning at first. And I don't know if I saw a post in maybe one of our groups or something that said, stop doing that. And I literally like whacked myself up the head and was like, yeah, stop that. Because just like when I have new recruits, they don't know what it took for me to get to where I am.
Hmm.
And there's no way they can expect to be where I am just starting off.
Yeah.
So go for it. Don't compare.
Yeah, I love that. Comparison is an evil thing for sure. I
Mhm.
know that for a fact because I was caught up in comparison for many years in my Epicure business. And once I said to myself, it's like, I'm Lisa. I'm not that other person. I do
Mhm.
me, and this is how I do my business, and I am okay with that. So I
Exactly.
totally agree with that. All right. So my next question is, and I probably know your answer to this. And you giggle because I'm pretty sure you're going to say the same thing. But
Hmm.
can you tell the listeners what is one strategy that you've been doing in your business that you think you've seen the most change or the biggest results from?
Well, I haven't seen like huge results yet, but I know I will. I have
Hmm.
started my own website and my own
Yes.
email.
And your own what? And your own what?
My my own email.
And also a did you
Oh,
start your
blog.
blog?
I
Yes.
did. I did. I started my blog. Yes. So yeah, and all of these things, they are like the bow on top of what I like to call good customer service because customer
Mhm.
service to me is 100% where it's at. And what you've helped me with my website and my email. And yay, I can do the blog myself. I'm so excited. It helps me to pay it forward. I love to be able to do that when I can. The customers, they've gotten me where I am now, and without them, I wouldn't be here. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm all about that.
All right. So if you could go back and do one thing differently from when you started your business to now, what would it be?
I'd probably be better at host coaching.
I think
That
we
took
all
a
say
while.
that. Like,
That took a while for me to finally grasp. I don't know why. I've got a hard head sometimes. But for real, yeah. I mean, I'm knowledgeable about our products. I feel that it doesn't matter what format the party experience is on. I feel I give a good party. I don't know what my deal was,
do
but
you
yeah.
find, I'm just going to ask you this question because I always found that when I didn't know the host personally, like it was like not a very good personal relationship, I could host coach them better. Are you
Yeah,
like that?
I think so because I don't know about you, but I've got, like, a script, so to
Hmm.
speak, like in Project Broadcast or on boards or whatever, ready to rock and roll. And yeah, you're right. If you don't know them, then you can just, just pop this stuff off
Yeah.
and they're just like, okay. But
Yeah.
when it's your friends or if it's people, that more than, not the person that you don't know, maybe not the good friend or whatever, I feel a little bit weird
Yeah. Yeah,
about
for
sending that.
sure.
I don't know why. It's so silly.
Okay, I prepped you for this question because I prep all of my guests. So, can you give the listeners either a quote or a piece of advice that you've heard through your years in direct sales?
I'm so sorry.
That's okay. Do you know one?
I do, but you just heard Loki bark.
That's okay.
Okay. Okay. I do. As a fifth grade teacher, reading novels to my children was like the best thing ever. And one quote in particular, and this goes for business, for life, for whatever,
Hmm.
is from Wonder. When given the choice between being right or being kind, choose kind.
Hmm.
And that seriously goes for your business. You sometimes get hosts or customers that maybe, rub you the wrong way, so to speak.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, even though you could be in the right, choose that kind. You don't want to burn that bridge. You don't want to come off as, being rude or whatever, because we're in the customer service business.
Yeah.
Um, and seriously, just in life, just choose kind.
I'm giggling that at that because I just sent a message to someone over the weekend who was pretty pretty let's just say like pretty rude to me. And I my message was like the kindest, most sweetest like response possible. So, and I was talking to my upline about the situation. And so I sent her a copy of the message, and her response was, "Wow, you were a lot nicer than I would have been."
There you go. Choose that kind. Even if it's painful.
Yep. It's like, yeah, you just got to do what you got to do. It's like I remember back in my Mary Kay days, they said if somebody was rude to you, and I giggle at this, if somebody was rude to you or, dissed your product or did something like that, just smile and look at them and say, wrinkle, because if you're gonna wrinkle if you don't use Mary Kay. So I, I giggled. I giggle every time somebody's like, I'm just like, "Yeah, wrinkle."
There you go. I love it.
Alrighty, my friend. So we mentioned your website a couple of times during the podcast. So I want you to tell people where can they go to find Robin?
You can find me at robinspamperedpeeps.com. No spaces, lowercase letters. Find me, join me. It's fabulous.
Awesome. Yes, go check out Robin. She has a ton of information and I love her emails. I get the emails and tons of information in there. So I appreciate that so much. Anyway, Robin, we're going to wrap this up, but I really want to thank you so much for joining me on this episode. And I look forward to seeing everyone on next week's episode of The Other 99%. Take care, everyone. Bye. Hey, thanks so much for taking the time to listen to the podcast. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you would take a minute to rate and review the podcast, I would absolutely love it. And if you know someone who really needs to hear this podcast, please feel free to share it with them. More listeners, the better. And if you know someone who would like to be a guest on the podcast, or you yourself would like to be a guest, be sure to check the link in the show notes or visit lisaduck.com and click Be a Guest. We'll talk to you soon.